What's your creative process like from, let's say, from the moment you selected new symphony? Is it symphony how it's said to
Hmm.
play?
Yep.
So you just pick up those score. How do you go through that? Do you research other orchestras that already played it, or you prefer not to?
Oh, well, certainly at some point I will. I mean, I'm sitting here with a pile of scores this big on my, let me see if you can see it. I don't think you see because of the light, but I have a pile of scores I'm working my way through. And it depends. When I'm doing a standard repertoire piece that is familiar, that's a different approach from a new piece that I've never seen. And maybe it doesn't even have a recording of it yet. But the approach that I take is always similar. I'm trying to find out uh, the motivation of the composer. Why did this person write this piece? What's the story? What's the narrative behind the piece? So this is my big um, investigation, I would say. I'm trying to discover this. So it's a matter of looking at the score, analyzing harmonically, analyzing melodically, analyzing the phrases, analyzing the dynamics, trying to figure out what, and gradually as I do that, and as I read about the composer or speak to the composer, if it's a living composer, I start to, it starts to take a shape. It's sort of a blob, and then it starts to shape, and you see, okay, this is the picture that I need to convey to my musicians so they can convey it to the audience.
So you're looking at the score and you actually hearing the music. Is it how?
Yes. Hmm.
That's insane. Okay, I don't
Yeah,
understand
that's
how it
crazy. It's
works.
pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know how much, I don't know if we could measure how much a conductor hears, but I think we hear a lot. And of course, the more you do it, the more facile you become with it. And um, I can generally look at a score and have a pretty decent idea of how it will sound. Um, but I don't think I'm hearing everything. I'm not sure that's physically possible.
And then you take that interpretation and you go to your orchestra and you tell, okay, now you guys are playing this, or girls, right? Is it like a
Yeah,
sheet music?
not
They
exactly like that, but
I
you
want to
go
know
to the
how.
orchestra, and you say, it's such a privilege to be here. You have to really have the right dynamic going between you. Um, and usually I say if it's a new piece, and the composer can be there, I say, please welcome our guest composer. And I've asked him or her to say a few words about the piece, to try to give the musicians some insight. And if they're not there, I'll say a few words. This is a piece that was written to commemorate this or in honor of that, or to a childhood memory, whatever it is. And it gives the musician sort of a little snapshot. Okay, it's like saying, okay, this, we're thinking about blue, the color blue. We're all thinking about the same thing. And then I start to work it through. And I don't just play things. I like to play a chunk so they have an idea and then work it through and take things apart and show the musicians where they're together with whom. And, so they start getting a sense of the piece as well. So for them, it's it's the second step, where they have a blob in front of them, just these, black notes on the white page. And then they start taking the shape of something. And that's how it goes. And it's a very fast process though, once you get with the orchestra. My study process is much longer, several months
Oh
often,
wow.
or several weeks. And then the orchestra, I often meet the orchestra for the first time on a Tuesday morning, and our first concert is Thursday evening. That has to go quickly. Yeah.
That's quick. Okay, wow.